Last time we saw that shear strength of the soil is given as C plus sigma tan phi, and here C and phi are the shear strength parameters corresponding to total stress. But later it was found out that the shear strength depends upon the effective stress rather than total stress. So in terms of effective stress, shear strength is given as C dash plus sigma tan phi dash. So here we see that this C dash and phi dash and C and phi, they are different, and for the same soil we are obtaining different values of shear strength parameters. It means they are not constant for a soil. So they depend upon the type of test and the field conditions. So what are these conditions? So if the soil is drained or undrained, that will affect the values of these parameters. And if the loading is rapid or slow, it means that when the construction is taking place, we are suddenly applying the load. That means the period of construction is less, or we are slowly applying the load. That means construction is taking place in stages and it is taking a long time. So that will be a rapid or slow loading. And the next is type of soil. So these things will affect the values of C and phi and the shear strength of the soil. So we, from our earlier discussion, we know that when we apply some additional stress on the soil, because of that excess pore water pressure builds up and there is no sudden change in the effective stress. It takes time, and with time this pore water pressure will go out and then only effective stress will increase. So it means that if the effective stress, or I mean the pore water pressure, is not going out, so that is undrained condition, or as we are constructing, this pore water pressure is moving out, then it is a drained condition. So depending upon that, other factor is rapid construction or rapid loading or slow loading. What does it mean? That if we are applying this load suddenly in a manner that pore water pressure is unable to move out that quickly, it means that we applied some load sigma and the amount of this sigma was such that the pore water pressure built up, it could not go out. So because of that the undrained condition will exist, because of pore water pressure is existing. And on the other hand, if we apply our loading in smaller increments, so we applied some small load sigma dash or some small stress, and because of this stress whatever pore water was there, it drained out, and then we applied some more stress sigma double dash, so some more pore water pressure drained out, so no excess pore water pressure is there. So it means that pore water pressure is not building up and the drained condition is prevailing. And depending upon the type of soil, so if it is a coarse grained soil, so mostly for that drained condition will be there, and if it is fine grained such as clay, so for that undrained condition will be there. But it is also possible that for coarse grained soil undrained condition exists. When will it happen? If it is a coarse grained soil and we suddenly apply a large load, so for that there is a possibility that undrained condition exists. And even if it is a clayey soil and we slowly apply this load, so for that it is possible that only drained condition exists. So depending upon these undrained or drained conditions, we conduct our test to better simulate the field conditions. So depending upon that we can find out proper values of C and phi. So if it is a drained soil, or all the time if drained condition is prevailing, so in that case we prefer effective stress analysis, because our effective stress is equal to total stress minus hydrostatic pore pressure. So if we can find out the effective stress, because no excess pore water pressure is there, so we will find out the effective stress, and depending upon that we will find out C and phi values. This test if we conduct in the lab, so for that, let's say this is the sample in a direct shear test. So for that, obviously there will be no hydrostatic pressure. Whatever water will be there in this soil, it will drain out. So effective stress can be given as total stress. So this above formula is for field condition and this is for lab condition. So this is for drained condition. And what if undrained condition is there in the field? For undrained condition, we do the total stress analysis, because in undrained condition there is going to be excess pore water pressure, and in field it is very difficult to find out this excess pore pressure. So instead of finding out this excess pore water pressure, we find out the shear strength depending upon total stress values. So C and phi will be corresponding to total stress. And in some cases, if we can measure the pore water pressure by inserting piezometer in the soil, so for that we can conduct the effective stress analysis also. But generally for undrained condition, total stress analysis will be done. So when we check our soil for shear strength, so to find out the failure condition, we have to check for critical condition, and depending upon that we find those C and phi in this critical condition. So depending upon whether the soil is drained or undrained, these critical conditions will vary. So let's see these critical conditions. So for drained soil, if it is a drained soil, so when we do some construction on this soil, so there no pore water pressure is building up, it means as soon as we have completed the construction, the effective stress has increased due to this increased load. If this building is applying some load P, so because of that this effective stress will increase by delta sigma. So this increase will have happened just after the construction. So we can find out our shear strength just after construction, and that will give over the critical condition. Now in case of undrained soil or undrained condition, there are two cases. So we know that if it is a soil and we increase the stress, so because of that pore water pressure will be positive. And if this is the soil and because of some reason we remove some part of the soil, that means the stress will decrease, and if stress is decreasing, it means that expansion of the soil will take place, void ratio will increase. So because of that volume expansion, water is sucked into the soil, and that means negative pore pressure will exist. So in undrained soil there are two conditions. First is pore water pressure is positive and next is pore water pressure is negative. So what will be your critical time to find out the shear strength and shear strength parameters? So if positive pore water pressure is there, then we know that effective stress is given as total stress minus pore water pressure. It means that when we have completed this construction, at that point pore water pressure will be maximum and effective stress will be minimum. And when effective stress is minimum, it means that shear strength will be minimum. So if in the undrained condition pore water pressure is positive, then we find out the shear strength and shear strength parameters just after completing construction. and if it is a case of some excavation, and in that case this stress is decreasing, and because of that negative pore water pressure is building up. So if pore water pressure is negative, then we know that effective stress is given as total stress plus pore water pressure. It means as soon as the construction has completed, the pore water pressure will be, the effective stress will be maximum. But because of this negative pore water pressure, the water will be sucked into the soil, and after long time, this all water, after sucking so much water, the hydrostatic condition will become, or hydrostatic condition will prevail, and because of this hydrostatic condition, later the effective stress will be given as total stress minus pore water pressure. It means that after a long time this effective stress is going to reduce, and if effective stress is reducing, that means the shear strength is also reducing. So the critical condition is after long time of construction. So we'll find out the shear strength and shear strength parameters after the construction has taken place, and after that a long time has passed. So then we'll find out the shear strength in case of negative pore pressure, and in case of positive pressure we will find out the shear strength and shear strength parameter just after the completion of construction. And similarly in case of drain condition, we'll just after the construction we'll find out the shear strength. So this is about the all about the drained or undrained condition, and depending upon that when we have to find out C and phi. Next we will see the test to find out these values to find C and phi. So first is direct shear test. So this test is conducted for coarse grained soils, and all the time only drain condition should be there, or if the soil is drained in the field, so that condition only we can simulate in this test, because pore water pressure cannot be measured, pore pressure not measured. So this is the test condition. Here we apply shear force, and here we apply some normal load. So this is the soil, and on the top and below we keep the porous stone, so even if water is there it will drain out. And we do this test just for sand or gravel, and as we apply the shear force, so that value of shear force is measured using this proving ring arrangement, and from the top we apply the normal load. So we know that shear strength is given as C plus sigma tan phi, but in case of sand and gravel C is equal to 0, so shear strength is equal to sigma tan phi. So what we do here, if normal load is N and shear force is P, so we apply various normal loads, and various, depending upon that, shear force required will be different. So we conduct this experiment 4-5 times, and then we divide these forces by the total area. So normal force divided by total area will give our effective stress, because it is drain condition, so effective stress and total stress are same. And similarly horizontal force or shear force divided by area will give our shear stress. So after obtaining different values of shear stress and normal stress, we plot it like this. So on this axis this is normal stress, here it is shear stress, so it will go something like this. So after joining these lines we will find out the value of phi here. So mostly in this case this will pass through the origin, because C is equal to 0. So that's how we find out the value of phi in this case. But there are some serious limitations with this test. Let's see those. First of all, as we apply the load, so this part will move here, and because of that this is the predefined plane. So here the plane of failure is predetermined, and normally it is not the case. Failure plane can be anywhere, it is not predetermined. So this test is suitable when we know what is going to be the failure plane in the field. So in that case we can apply this test. And next is non-uniform stress distribution. That means when we shear this block here, so on the edge this stress will be more, and on the middle part stress will be less. So because of that, non-uniform stress distribution is there, and we are finding this shear stress and effective stress depending upon the total area. But as we are moving in this direction, the shear stress will be changing because the area will be changing, because this will come somewhere here like this. So area will be just this part, but we are using whole area, so the stresses are also not correct, but we use nominal area, or the, as it is called, total area. And direction of principal plane is also not known in this case. So direction of principal plane can be known only after we have made the Mohr circle. So with that we can find out the principal plane, otherwise we don't know the direction. And no control of drainage, as I said earlier, that we cannot find out the pore pressure in this case, so only for drain condition we can conduct this test. So this is the easiest test, and because these are the benefits also, because it is the easiest test and economical also. So for sands, it is, if we want to construct the sample, so constructing the sample is also easy. So because of these reasons, this is a still a very good test to find out the C and phi values, or mostly the phi values, because it is conducted for sand. But in exam some question can be asked in this manner, that they will give you shear strength and the this effective stress or total stress, and if two values are given, that is C1, sorry, sigma 1 tau 1 and sigma 2 tau 2. So using these two equations you can find out the two variables, that is C and phi. So this kind of question can be asked in the exam, so that will be very easy. So next time we will see the triaxial test and the vane shear test. So that's it for now.